So take your thread off your bobbin. I've given you lots. You might need to change your thread once while we go around and do the sewing. So just use your arm's length as your guide. So hold your end of your thread in between your thumb and Peter pointer and just pull it up along your arm until you get to your shoulder, and then we'll double it. So that's always a good length of thread to use. It's not too long, it's not too short. And I'm going to cut that and just keep the rest of your thread on your bobbin for later. And then we're going to thread our needle. So just thread through there. There we go. And when you're ready to tie your knot, we're just going to hold the two ends together on our index finger and just hold them together, wrap it once around, and then use your thumb to roll it off your finger and pull to create a nice big knot. I know some of you must be experts at threading and tying your knot on your needle by now. There we go. Has everyone got a needle threaded, ready to go? We're going to start with the eye. So I'll just put these on the side later, for later. And then also my little wings, I'll just put them on the side. But I know which way is up in my beak. And I'm going to start with the eyes. Okay, we better get sewing, otherwise we'll never finish this project. Okay, so if everyone's got their needle and thread, and we're going to start from the back. So come up from the back. We're going to do a running stitch. So we haven't done much running stitch together before. So this is kind of one of the first stitches we learn when we sew. So we're going to go around our eye. So we're going up from the back and then down from the front. Nice small stitches. And then we jump a little bit ahead and go up from the back, down from the front. And we're going to work our way around our owl eye. So just hold it in place as you sew up from the back. I've started in the middle of the left eye, but if you're right-handed, you can start here or you can start here and work your way around your eye this way, and then we'll jump around and do the other eye. So I'm just going to go on this way because I've done all the other workshops right-handed. So just give myself a bit of a change. So we're going to go up from the back, down from the front. If you accidentally get your thread wrapped around, you can pull it back to the other side quite easily. And we're just going to stay close to the edge, up from the front, down in the back. Sorry, up from the back, down in the front, up from the back. I've got a little loop there. And just always keeping your owl nice and flat, not pulling your thread too tight. There we go. Up from the back. Down in the front. Just work our way around the eye. Down. Up. And we keep going around. Down in the front. Up from the back. Down in the front. And I've come back to the place where I've started. So I've got kind of quite even stitching all the way around. So keep working your way around your first eye. And you should end with your thread in the back once you've made your way all the way around. If you've finished your first eye, we're going to just hop across in the back. Ooh, I've got a few little loops there. You can just hop across from the back to do your second eye. So that's why we started in the middle there. So we don't need to tie any knots. We can just do a quick little hop across and keep going around our second eye. So up from the back. Down in the front. There we go. Up from the back. Down in the front. Up from the back. Down in the front. And just keep working your way around. Up from the back. Down in the front. Sometimes I get little like loops, so because it's doubled, it doesn't pull all the way through. So just check every now and then that your thread is getting pulled through all the way. So up from the back. Down in the front. It takes a lot of concentration to sew right-handed. That's funny. Yeah, also there's not too many lefties, so I tend to just sew right-handed, but maybe it's good because it also makes me slow down a bit, so then I sew at a bit of a slower pace if I do it right-handed. I'll do the outside right-handed. But yeah, it uses like a different part of your brain to try sew with your opposite hand. So up from the back, down in the front. Down in the front. And keep going around. Hopefully everyone has enough thread to make it around the eyes. No one needs to change it just yet. I've got space to do one more stitch, so I've kind of been keeping an eye as I sew around to make sure I've got my spacing. So, but if you need to just squeeze in a stitch, just make like shorter stitches. There we go. So I've got my two eyes on. I'm going to stick my little black bits on and oops. So while you're finishing sewing around your eyes, if you're done, you can just peel off the paper backing of the eyes. It can be a little bit tricky. And we're just going to stick them down in the middle. If you're still sewing around your eyes, just keep going. And if you're done, just give me a little thumbs up in the chat. And I'll stick that one down as well. Oh, it's looking so cute already. Right, so if you've got your two little eyes, you can stick on the little black bits, and then we are going to do the beak next. So you want to nestle your beak just in between your eyes. I'm just going to check quickly that doesn't overlap with my wings, so that's a good placement. So if you're ready, you can just pick up your owl again, and we're going to jump from the back again, so we don't need to tie any knots. And we're going to do 2 stitches on either side, a couple in the middle, but we want to catch the edge so that it doesn't pull away later. So I'm going to come up just in that corner and just stitch back onto the owl so that the top of the beak is really secure. So you can see this. So I've come up in the corner of the beak and just stitched back onto the owl. And then we can keep doing our running stitch across, and we'll do the same stitch in the other corner of the beak to make sure that our beak is nice and secure and isn't going to come off. So these stitches are quite a bit smaller. And again, I want to come up just in the corner. And then stitch down to the owl so that it's really secure and won't come off when we tug it. Or so you've got 1 stitch on each side, and that will secure your little owl beak. There we go. It's coming together really quickly. There we go. The next thing we will be stitching are the wings. So just give a minute. So I'm going to do the left wing first. Hopefully it stays like this video because that's what I'm going for. Sorry about that if it was too blurry before. But you can all see what we've done so far, the 2 eyes, the little beak. And then I'm going to do the wings first. So I'll start with the left one. So the bottom edge of the wing should, if I've cut your wings well, should line up with the bottom of your owl body. If they're the wrong way around, you'll see that they don't line up properly. So just have a little play, make sure they're all secure, all lined up. And then we're going to do a V stitch. So the idea is that we do a couple of V stitches quite close to this edge to secure this edge of your wing down, and then we kind of fill in the other areas, and then we'll sew the bottom edge down when we do the outside. So it's about 7 V stitches, 6 or 7. So I'll show you how to do those now. So I'm just going to hold my little wing in place, and I'll do 1 up in this corner first. So it's just the same as like just regular straight stitches. It's just that we're going to make a V shape. So this is the top of my V, and I want to come down a little bit on an angle, and then my second stitch will be the other edge of the V. So just come up a little bit to the side from the back, and I stitch down to the middle of the V. So just imagine your V letter in your head. So my next one I'm going to do down here. So I can just imagine where my V will be. I just come up at the top bit of the V. Just hopping down. And then it will be about there. And this just kind of creates a bit of like a feathery effect on our owl. There we go. And then just sew down to the middle. See if it will load. Sew down to the middle of the V. Sorry. It's not very clear, is it? I'll leave it. There we go. So sewing down to the middle. I'm just going to work my way down and then I'll fill in the middle V's. I will need to change my thread soon, probably some of you as well. So I'll do a couple more and then I'll show you how to change your thread. So for the next one, again, we're going up from the back. I'm imagining my V going down to the center of the V, up from the back, down in the front. There we go. And then I'm just going to do one in the middle here to fill that in as I work down. So just come up from the back. Imagine your V, up from the back. And then we're going to close the V by sewing back to the center. Just like that. So I've done a couple. I'm just trying to stagger them a little bit so that they're not too close together. So I'll do another one. Maybe down here. If you come up from the back, down to make your V. If you need to poke around a little bit to find the other side of your V, just go for it. And down. I think I can do one more with this thread and then I will need to change it. So I'll do one down in the corner so that that bottom corner is nice and secure. So if you need to change your thread, there's a few ways to do it. Because we've got a double thread, it's quite a bit easier. So what you can do is either just use your needle to pick up a little bit of the felt in the back. Depends how long your thread is. If you've got enough space to sew back through that loop, you can do that. My thread is quite short though, so you can do that twice. Sew back through your loop and cut it. Otherwise, if your thread is really short like this is, you can always just cut to take your needle off, and then you've got two ends, so you can just tie a double knot. Okay, you can just tie a double knot and then cut your threads. Not all the way down to the knot, leave a little bit of a tail. Just like that. So if your thread is too short, do that last one, just tie a double knot and cut the tail. If you've got a bit of a longer tail, you can do that, picking up a bit of the felt and sewing down. So just make sure my second wing is ready to go. Okay, so get some more thread on my needle. So again, I don't actually need too much thread because I only have that last little bit of the wing to do. So I'll just do enough to do that. Hopefully the little humming isn't too loud in the background of the heater. So I just going to double it again. I always use a double thread, so I don't need to worry about having a tail to hold on to or anything like that. And then I'm just going to wrap my thread around and then pull so you get a nice big knot there. How's everyone doing with their V stitches on the wings? Are we doing all right? So if you're ready to do the second wing and you still have thread left, you can just jump across and then work your way up up the owl. Good, here, super. Good, so just keep going on your little wings with your little V stitches. So whenever you start to sew, just remember that you always go up from the back. So I'm going to do a little stitch down in the corner here. Just imagine my V up from the back. Yeah, sometimes pins can be quite helpful to hold your pieces in place. So I'm going to go up from the back. Just check that's good. Down in the front. It doesn't matter what the back of your owl looks like because we're going to stuff it. It will all be hidden inside, so we don't need to worry about what that looks like. There we go. Just gonna hop over here to get another one up here, close to the edge. Down in the front. Up from the back. Down in the front. Just keep going on your wing. So if you get any little like thread, sometimes one loop doesn't pull all the way. They're usually quite easy to pull out, or you just need to pull one of the threads. That happened to me over here. I've got one loop that's a little bit loose, but I think that's fine like that. Up from the back. Yeah, you can already have a little think about what your owl's name will be as we go. And then the last one, try to get it up in the corner. I'm going to go up and then down. There we go. Creating some nice little V's. There we go. Looking so good. Louis. And then when you're ready, just let me double check. We don't need any more white thread, so you can cut that off and just do a double knot there. There we go. And then just cut it close to the knot, but not right at the knot in case it comes undone. There we are, and then you can take off the white thread. And then you might need to just dig around to find the end of the teal. I've given you lots of extra thread just in case someone gets in a tangle or something. They need some extra thread. So there we go. So just find the end of your teal thread and give yourself a quite big length of thread. So use your arm's length. Because we'll need quite a bit to go around. We're going to do the pocket next on the back of the owl. So there's the owl front done.